Hello there, class. Sorry, I didn't hear you right there. I was just taking care of this Meteor Strike that's been here since I made it our overworld campus. If you can't tell by my armor set, this lesson 4, is going to be about the Fallen Meteors mod. Now, this is not going to be a complete Fallen Meteors mod review. It's just going to be concentrating on the meteors objects as they appear in Hexxit. Now, meteors are they're one of my favorite things about Hexxit. They're the thing that makes it sort of different than many others. The simple way of putting it is that because meteors are in Hexxit, the world will never quite be the same. Over time, meteors will continually fall, and they will eventually damage the world, and it will essentially be destroyed. Although not really. The other thing I like best about meteors is that they give a great early level advantage in the game if you can find a couple of them. So I'm going to start this off by showing you what I showed you in our introductory lesson. This is a regular or meteorite strike, and this is actually a large one. They come in several different sizes. The smaller ones are maybe like this big here, and the medium ones are halfway bigger than that. And these large ones are, I think this is about 20 by 20, maybe a little less than that, honestly. But the reason that I have this here, and no, I did not actually spawn this in, this naturally struck while I was building the classroom and the tower because I had not yet established, my rendering is actually a little low because you can't quite see, right up there is my meteor shield. Before I installed that, this thing came crashing down, and well, it's been here ever since. And including, as you can see, that piece of diamond over there that's been nagging at me since I created this overall campus. But I wanted to show you exactly what a meteor strike looks like. This will not be exactly as you might find in the real world for two important points. One is that obviously it's right next to your spawn, and you won't necessarily find it there, although you will find them in places where you have been, that is, places where the chunks have already loaded. It's fairly rare to find a strike in new terrain generation, just has to do with the way that meteorites are generated. Now, like I said, this is a normal strike, and if you happen to come across a fresh strike, so picture yourself, you just started playing Minecraft for a little while. Maybe you're doing some mining, learning using the stuff I've already taught you about storage blocks. Maybe you've looked around, dug a mine shaft, maybe you made a backpack or two. It's up to you. Maybe play around with Tinker's Construct, and all of a sudden you hear this sound, and it sounds kind of like, whoa, oh, was that a creeper blowing up? No, there's no crater around me, so there wasn't a creeper. So what was that? Oh, was that one of those meteors I ever heard about? And if it's nighttime, try and get up high and look for fire, because more likely when these things strike, they will catch fire to any woodland in the area. And if it's daytime, just again try and get up high and look for an area that's either on fire or has been somewhat flattened, or look for these characteristic black rocks. So that's only true for a meteor strike. Now, when you come across a fresh strike, it will be a little different than this because the meteors in question will still be hot. The way you can tell they're hot is that instead of looking like this, these are inert blocks or regular meteor blocks like this, falling meteor, they will look a little more sparkly. And yes, on toilet references aside, they will be sparkly, and when you stand on top of them, they will hurt you. That's how you can tell they're fresh. And the main difference between the fresh blocks and these cool down ones is the drop rate. Now, it's best to think of these meteor pieces almost like gravel, in that in and of themselves they're not terribly useful. I think you can actually craft like one or two things out of a meteor block, which is made out of 4 chips. I'll get to that in a second. But let me see here. Yeah, you need a fallen meteor, which is created by getting 4 of these meteor chips together in order to make the meteor timer, but that's really it. So there's not a heck of a lot of call for the meteor blocks in and of themselves. The meteor chips, on the other hand, are incredibly useful. But, like I said, think of them like gravel because they don't always drop meteor chips. I'd say, based on my experience, I'd say you have maybe a 20% chance to have a meteor chip drop. Oh, there's one of them. When you mine a cool down meteor block, and I think that goes up to maybe 40% when you mine a hot block. That is when it's still fresh. But the main difference though is when you mine the hot blocks, even with the regular meteorite strikes, you have a chance to get these red meteor gems, and these are the main sort of rare item in the Meteors Fallen Meteors mod. They're used in a number of different things, and they're very hard to come by. In fact, I've only found maybe 20 of these in survival mode. All maps I've played. They only come from three sources. One of them is alien creepers, which we will get to, and probably hope we're going to find one in a minute or so. The other source is, like I said, hot blocks, but that's actually a fairly rare drop rate. I think something like between 5 and 10%. And the other thing is in chests. And I could be wrong about this because I have found meteor armor. So there are Meteor mod items that spawn in chests around Hexxit. However, the only place I've ever found the red meteor gems has been the chests that are in the middle of the spaceship type meteors, which we will definitely get to later in this episode. So what I want to start off with is the proper way, at least probably I found, to mine a Meteor Strike. Now, Meteor Strike is a little different than normal because of the danger of alien creepers spawning around you. And what I found is the best thing you can do is have at least one piece in your hand, or, as I have, 4 pieces of meteorite equipment. I'm actually just going to move these aside for a minute to just show you why that is. Okay, it's because when you right click on a meteor boots, activates magnetization 1. And normally when you craft them, this will naturally be activated, but if you just spawn them like me, you need to right click on them in order for it to activate magnetization level 1. Now normally you only need one piece of this. However, these meteorite pieces are approximately as durable and provide just about as much armor, as you can see in my little bar on the lower part of the screen. They're about as durable as diamond. And that means that the meteorite pickaxe they make, see, it shows the durability in this case, is equally just about as durable. So, as I'll say later on when I get to our episode on pickaxes, you really do not need a diamond pickaxe in this game, because all you need to find is one of these strikes. You can probably get somewhere between half and 2 stacks of these Meteor Chips in each one in these, and these are roughly equivalent to diamonds in terms of the kind of durability of the equipment they can make. So, getting back to how to do the strike, I'm just going to make it day. So you can see a little better. Okay, so what you do first, find a corner, move over to one side, and dig down. And you want to dig down at least 4 or 5 blocks. What you want to try and find is where there are no more meteor blocks forming. That's because what the Meteor Strike does is it essentially replaces a bottom layer of surface normal Minecraft blocks with meteor blocks, and then sort of algorithms back up in this sort of random pattern as you see here. So when you level this down, you will come across a solid layer, 1 or 2 blocks thick, of meteor blocks. But what you want to do, because of the safety factor involved, is find the edge first and dig out from there. And as you can see from the way that the blocks are flying towards me, this is the effect of having either one piece of magnetization armor on, or carrying one piece of magnetized magnetized equipment, a pickaxe or spade, currently carrying. So if I were to not have it on me, the magnetization would not work unless I have the armor, but one or the other will function normally. So I'm just going to keep mining this. See, it's working kind of slow. If you can, I recommend playing around with Tinker's Construct, getting something with a little bit faster mining speed if you're in a hurry. But in general, you should be fine. See, I just took over a layer of there. I knew that was going to be there because when I dug down over there, there wasn't any over here. So this is sort of the safe leading edge of the meteor. But see down here, this is the far. This is as far as it goes on this side. And I always recommend finding one side or a corner if possible, and then digging your way out. But before you do that, try as much as you can to have an exit that is somewhere where you can jump out to. And actually, the best thing you can do, and we will definitely be getting to these when we get to our episode on armor, is get a pair of these cloud boots. And what these do is essentially give you a high jump and feather falling X. So I can do this. useful, isn't it? And trust me, when you're mining one of these things, I recommend you, unless you have, that's actually a good opportunity to talk about this. You don't have to. This is completely optional. But I have found that when playing Hexxit, it is extremely useful to play with keep inventory enabled. For those of you who don't know, all you have to do is type slash game rule keep inventory true. Oh, I think I misspelled inventory there. There we go. Updated. Mine was already set that way, but what that does is when you die, you will keep all of your items with you. And again, this is just completely optional. I just find it very useful because in Hexxit, it's all about adventuring. And the one thing I hate most about not playing with that is that when you die, say you go into a dungeon, you have your best armor. You die in the middle of the dungeon, and you have to run back there with either no armor, not suggested, or even your second best armor. If that happens more than once, it's more likely to cause a rage quit. So again, I recommend, but do not require you to have the keep inventory turned on. So, and this is especially important when dealing with these meteors, because if an alien creeper spawns next to you, and they can every time you try and dig out one of these things, and it's kind of tricky because I mean you could start digging through this and you may only encounter 4 or 5 alien creepers in this whole thing, this whole block. So you don't have to worry about just an alien creeper around every turn. However, the first time you see one, it will definitely cause you to be really scared because it'll be right there next to you. And for those of you who have played a Natura or have maybe played Hexxit before and have ventured into the Nether, you may be familiar with the creature called a Nitro Creeper. This is very similar to the Alien Creeper. In fact, it may actually just be a reskin. So that means that the explosions are bigger, and the timer between him tracking you, being in proximity, and exploding is about the same, maybe like 1 or 2 seconds, as opposed to the normal, which is about 4 seconds. So when you see one of these guys, try and keep in mind the entire time you're mining where your exit is. For me, I know it's back and jump out. And actually, no, this is a mistake. So when you do this, you're also going to want to bring with you bow and arrows, because trust me, you do not want to go up against an alien creeper with a sword. It will not work well. Okay, so what I just did right now is actually very dangerous. See, I am right on the meteorite level, and I'm mining while on the same level. As far as I can tell, it's kind of hard to tell. I'm not sure about the rules, but I believe, actually, you know what? Look up online on YouTube. I believe the mod maker actually has his own review of a sort of a walkthrough about how to do Falling Meteors, so that should be very helpful. Trying to figure this out, but my understanding is that the creepers can only really they spawn when you break a block that has one of them inside it. But I think it can only actually spawn on top of other meteorite blocks. I mean, I've actually seen these creepers spawn sort of in between these blocks. Meaning, I've seen one spawn, like for example, right here, and suffocate. If you can get a shot in at that point, it's a wonderful way to take out a creeper, an alien creeper, that is. So I'm just gonna keep doing this until I find one of these guys, and I'm probably gonna be scared as heck. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, students, so far I have not yet found an alien creeper. I just wanted to take a minute to show you what this looks like, at least partially excavated. So like I said before, when you look down, you will, when you get down to it, you will see a solid layer of these meteorite blocks with the the randomized ones up on top. So I find that when you get down to this level is actually when you're most likely to find the alien creepers. I think it has to do, like I said, with the proximity of these meteorite blocks to other ones. It looks like we got 2 layers of it here. Okay, so I'll be back when I find one of these things. Whoa, 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 whoa! Ah! Students, that was our first encounter with the alien creeper. And if you'll notice, I was wearing full meteorite armor, and that took me down to 1 heart. So, not full, almost full meteorite armor. So, if you're wearing diamond armor, that would have roughly the same effect. So, I'm just going to spawn in some food. And we're going to try this again. Whoa, 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 whoa! Ah, son of a... Whew. Got lulled into a false sense of security right there. Okay, so far, 2 creepers exploded, none killed. And as you can see, I'm about 5, 6 done with this thing. So, be right back. Whoa, 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 whoa! Yes, I got him, got him. Okay, okay, fast. Back away, back away. Okay. Okay, I don't think he can get out. Okay, students, we have ourselves our alien creeper, and he is in there. Yes, he dropped it. He dropped it. Whew! Okay, so that was about 3/4 of this large meteor strike, and we bagged our 1 out of 3 of the alien creepers that spawned. I'm going to finish up digging the rest of this out. I think I'm going to turn this into our campus pool, but it shows you. Oh, we got 2. We actually got 2 red meteor gems, but I want to illustrate to you how rare these things actually are. Unless you find them in a chest, that's your best source. That is those alien creepers, and those things are scary as hell, as you know. I'd heard me shriek like a little girl when they came and blew up right around me. So I'll be back in a minute to continue our lesson. Okay, just for you completionists out there, I am not going to leave you hanging. I'm going to collect this diamond block here. Okay, so as you can see, I cleared out this large meteorite strike, and it took me a little over 4 Minecraft days. That's actual days. I wouldn't recommend you ever trying to mine a strike at night, because you don't want to worry about the creepers in front of you and everything else going in from behind you. So I managed to get almost 4 stacks of meteor chips, and we're lucky to get 2 red meteor gems. So this is pretty much you can expect from a large meteor strike. But like I said, it took me 4 Minecraft days, and I used up pretty much 2 full meteorite pickaxes, which are equal to a diamond pickaxe. So it takes a long time, but this should be enough chips to last you for the rest of your game. And what can you use chips for? Well, for that, we'll go to the next part of our lesson. And for that, we're going to go into this building here, which is our astronomy tower. Going to head up to the 2nd floor. Here we go. Okay, so first and foremost, when you come up here, I have to apologize. There is one storage thing I did not show you in the last episode. It's an oversight on my part. Is this, which is the locker, and it's relatively simple. It's just like a normal chest. However, yeah, you make it with planks and a trapdoor on one of the sides. But instead of stacking horizontally like a chest, this one stacks vertically. And when you open it, and you can see when I close it, it actually opens and closes like that. I've got a couple of these in my potions lab, so you'll see those when I come to it. So what we just saw, and we mined from the meteorite over there, are Meteorite Chips, which are these little things here. But there are two other similar types of meteor material that you can mine like that. over here we have the Freezerite crystal. And the Freezerite is a little bit harder to find, mostly because the strikes of those are usually a little smaller, and so if you're lucky, you maybe get maybe 1.5 stacks per strike, if that. And the other thing you can get is this, which is the Meteorite chip. Now this is a very useful little thing. However, obtaining it is very tricky. This, unless you find it in a chest, this will only drop from fresh Meteorite meteor blocks. Meaning you have to get to a strike within a certain time frame. Otherwise, it turns, and as we saw before, when a strike cools down, you get the hot blocks that stop being hot blocks, turn into normal blocks. What happens with the Meteorite is that the blocks actually transmute into obsidian. So it's much less useful at that point. And we'll definitely get to this in a little bit. So let's drop that back off. Okay, so in our locker here, we have each of the chips like I showed you, and here is the red meteor gem. Now this is the rare part. Like I said, you find ways to get this however you can. It's going to be hard to find. Because this is so rare, some of the stuff I'm going to show you, especially with the Meteor Summoners, are very hard to obtain in Hexxit. You have to try very hard just to get enough materials for one of those summoners. I'll show you how to make them in just a second. But first I want to go over the devices. And first and foremost, I showed you in the beginning of our episode and the beginning of the series, in fact, what I have above this astronomy tower is one of these. This is a Meteor Timer. And you make it relatively simply with redstone and one each of the chips. So you're basically going to need to find, unless you're lucky, one of each strike type in order to make this. And the Meteor is just made by taking 4 chips and combining like I showed you before. But how to install it can be a little bit trickier. I'm going to show you that in a moment. I just want to grab the rest of these so I can show you on the fly how everything works. Okay, so first and foremost, you look up here. Okay, this is my fully charged Meteor Shield. That is this thing. You can see in my inventory slot, this thing does not have these red dots on it. That's because this one is actually fully charged and fully upgraded. Now I'm going to do something which I wouldn't normally recommend you do in your Minecraft game. I'm going to disable this because we've been playing around with Meteors mod, including using Meteor Summoners, and I'm not totally sure if this thing stops Meteor Summoners from functioning. So, okay, so I no longer have Meteor Protection on my base here. But what you do, take a Meteor Shield block, put it where you want. See the Meteor Shield charging. Now, what you can do is take some Meteor Chips. You see the little particles are going inside that. One. See? More particles. This is now fully charged. However, it's only at its first level of usefulness, about 20%. So other particles just came back. So it's not very useful. I think this as it is covers a little bit more than this building. Maybe extends towards the forge over there, but it does not cover our entire campus. What you do at that point is use the first use of these red meteor gems, and you do 1, see 40%, so that was a 20, 60, 80, 100. Four meteor gems will give you a fully charged meteor shield, and this will give you coverage pretty much, let's see. Yeah, this will pretty much cover your entire base. It'll probably even cover the pirate ship off to the west over there. We can verify that with some of these protected land tester. That's relatively simple to make. You just take a meteor chip and put it on top of a stick, similar to a redstone torch. And I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. But like I said, we'll be playing around with the Meteor Summoners, so I'm going to disable this. Okay. So second thing, I'm just going to do this quick way to do this a little quicker. And because I'm wearing my cloud boots, which give me feather falling 10, so I can just jump off this thing, and it wouldn't give me any damage. So if I can do this, a bit of base jumping. Whee! There we go. Okay, so right below me is actually a very interesting piece of redstone circuitry. I just showed you to you earlier. This is over here the Meteor Timer I made before. This is relatively simple to make. What this does is it tells you how soon it will be, well, as different modes. What I set at now is it will show you how soon it will be for the next meteorite to strike. Yeah, I think you can right click. Oh, sorry, that was wrong. You can right click on it. See, quick mode. Meteor Timer will now only output a redstone signal when it is about to crash. Or power mode. I prefer power mode because, as you see, I have these redstone lamps attached using redstone dust right underneath it, and you see they only extend up to here. That's because I have exactly 15 dots worth of redstone dust. So here, when it hits 15, that means that a crash is imminent. So right now it's only about halfway. It means I still have some time before a crash occurs. And you'll notice I have 2 of these meteor timers, and so it will extend the redstone signal in all directions. So I've got one signal here, there, and there. So I can look up anywhere around my base and see, oh, the weather's looking okay. So how's the meteor weather? Meteor weather is about halfway up till strike time. I'm gonna make it. While I'm at it, I'm gonna actually make it day again, so I can see any better. And I recommend that you put together some kind of similar meteor warning system as soon as possible. Again, a meteor timer is not very hard to make. All you need is one of each chip, essentially, and a couple extra meteor chips in order to make that. So the next thing is which one is this? Sorry, the Meteor Proximity Detector. And this is made using simply 1 redstone and 4 meteor chips. This, in my opinion, is absolutely useless. The reason is that this does not show you the proximity of the next meteor to crash. This shows you the proximity of the nearest meteor, which is not necessarily one that's going to crash most recently. Essentially, if you use this, it will show you that, for example, you look at my hotbar. There's one pretty far this way. See, I'm moving pretty well. Oh, yeah. So it's pretty far over that way some way. The difficulty is that this will not tell you which one is going to crash next. So you cannot anticipate when it's going to crash. You just know which is the closest. However, what is much more useful is this one, the Meteor Crash Detector, which is used making 1 Meteor Gem and 4 Meteorite Chips. This is what will show you the location of the nearest meteor crash. And then this is very useful. And in fact, I happen to know which one this is pointing to, because I'm pretty sure I do. Okay, I'm actually going to go into creative mode just to illustrate this. Okay, I think I may have found it, but I'm getting a weird signal. This, if those are interested, is a volcano dungeon. I discovered this a while back, and I'm definitely planning on exploring this with you. I'm just very confused at the moment. Okay, I'm definitely going to explore this in the future, but I'm in creative mode now, so I'm not going to activate anything. I just want to try and find this strike. And I'm not seeing it. Okay, so important lesson to learn. The meteor crash detector is not infallible. It can lead you astray. And I think it just led me about 1,500 blocks from our overland campus, overworld campus. Sorry. So I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, and for those of you who are interested, I think I'm about 1,000 blocks north of our overland campus, and this is the location where the um, meteor proximity detector is showing me is the nearest meteor that's going to fall. Not necessarily the next one, but the nearest one. So if you can see it moving towards it, and as soon as I get a little closer, it turns the other direction. That's how you can tell. And where is the meteor? Well, when I first started playing Hexxit, I started digging down because I thought this meant it was down there and that's where it was buried. But actually, it means it's up there, up near a build limit, and it will fall here at some point in the future. No idea of knowing when. Okay, students, now we are back on our overworld campus, and we are on the south side of campus, as you can see, because we're going to be playing around with Meteor Summers. I don't want to do it too close to the main buildings. I'm in creative mode, mostly because it's just a little easier to move around and to throw these things. So we're going to come over here, this little area, and okay, what I have in my hand now is a Meteor Summer. This is actually, in and of itself, not very useful. It is the base for the rest of these. Okay, and the Meteor Summer, you would do this. Yeah, and it's made using 5 of those red meteor gems. Again, hard to come by. And you'd use this in order to manufacture the other ones. Meteorite, Freezerite, Kreknorite, Unknown, which is basically the meteor ship, I believe, and the Kitty Comet. It's just two alternates. You can use either cooked or raw fish. So. Okay, so now first we're going to do the meteorite over here. And again, there are 3 different sizes, so we'll get either small, medium, or large. And what you do is just right-click on the area to throw it like an egg. It says incoming meteor. You don't want to be too close to it. You should be able to see it as it comes down. Okay, so that was a medium-sized one. And we've got 3 alien creepers that spawn along with it. And you see the fire is catching. This is what you will see when you find a meteorite strike within your area. Okay, moving on to number 2, we have a Kreknorite. Now for this one, I'll do it sort of close to the water, but not too close. You can see the difference, and you're just going to right-click, throw it like an egg. And incoming. Okay, about the same size. Now this one is significantly different. I'm going to switch back into regular mode for this. Okay, so look around here. You see we've got snow. The Freezerite is the snow meteor. So we've got snow all over the place. You also have, if you notice, see the water's over there, but there is now water blocks. That's one thing that arrives, as do ice blocks. However, these are the Freezerite blocks. So you just mine these as usual. And one of the benefits of the Freezerite meteor is that it does not spawn the alien creepers. You don't have to worry about that. You do, however, have to worry about the fact that there are water blocks and ice blocks all around you. So any light source you bring in here will more than likely get melt the ice, and of course you have to deal with it as you come. In terms of getting water all over the place, I recommend you carry a stack of dirt with you when you find one of these strikes. And another thing to note is that the Freezerite will over time transmute from its normal. Oh, it just happened. See that? The Freezerite will transmute. I believe this was what happened. Just check me. Transmute from its normal state to either ice or to water. From a strike like this, you can hope to get maybe half a stack of Freezerite. And Freezerite is very useful for one thing in particular, which we'll go over in our armor segment. That is, it gives you cold touch. That is, by wearing a piece of Freezerite armor, you can walk on water. Well, that is, the water turns to ice underneath your feet. Combine that with the cloud boots, and if they don't bug out on you, very useful for getting around the world over the oceans. Okay, so I'm going to go back to creative mode, and okay, now we come. Okay, now we come to the one that I'm hoping will come out very well. See, one thing that our overland campus does not have, among other things, is a nether portal. I'm actually planning on showing you in our next episode how to construct a Twilight Forest portal, and that's what this little structure here is for. So I'll show you how to do that in the next episode. However, we do not yet have a nether portal. So I was thinking, since we're doing a lesson on meteors, and we have the Kreknorite meteorite, then I might as well use this as a way of creating a nether portal. That's right, Kreknorite is the nether meteorite, and whenever one drops, there's a chance to open a portal to the nether. The way you can tell if a Kreknorite meteorite has fallen is because instead of hearing the boom, or in addition to it, depending on how close you are, you will get a text message that says something like, a portal has opened to the nether. So I'm over here, not too far from campus, and let's see if it happens on the first one. It doesn't happen every time, so let's see what happens. Yep, there it is. Okay, it's hard to read, but it says a portal to the nether has been created. So there we go. There is our nether portal with a little house with glowstone and nether rack. Pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, now this is the reason that I chose to create one of these things rather than try and find one. You look around, you see obsidian, and if you look carefully, you see lava blocks, but you also see these red blocks. This is the Kreknorite, and Kreknorite, unless you find it relatively quickly, will transmute into obsidian. So I'm just going to show you what happens if you get too close to it. Just like with regular meteorite blocks, you catch on fire. So you have to do it relatively quickly. See, well, although because it's hot, the drop rate is relatively high, so you only have to worry about getting a couple of them. Here, and I just got 10 in just a few blocks, so not going to need a heck of a lot of those. And of course, if you need a source of obsidian for whatever reason, this is a pretty good way to get that. So next up, we're going to talk about the kitty comet, which is it's one of the cuter things in Hexxit, really. They're extremely rare. So rare is you will almost never find one in the wild. You almost guaranteed have to bring into the world. Now, I've never actually summoned one of these myself, so I'm just going off the information I heard about it. But I believe take some raw fish and see if we can find a nice little level place for it. Now let's go over here and key summoner. I'm going to summon it over this pig. Sorry, Mr. Pig. Oh, yep, there we go. Okay, now you see, it didn't leave any debris, but it did leave this little guy. This is a comet kitty. Look at the kitty. Look at that little kitty. He's a fast little guy, but just like an ocelot. In fact, he is basically a reskinned ocelot. If you stay still. Okay, so I was unsuccessful in trying to catch a comet kitty. Well, that's just my loss. Hopefully, you'll have better luck if you manage to summon one of them. Okay, so last on our list is the Unknown Meteor, and this is basically the ship meteor, as far as I can tell. I'm going to put it right here and throw it. Very cool. Oh, cool. I got a Meteor Summer on my back. No, that's right. That was automatic. Okay, so the Unknown Meteor, better known as the Ship Meteor, gives you the best of all worlds. Meteor blocks, Freezerite, Kreknorite, and it's sort of in a 3x3, along with glowstone. But most importantly, if you dig through the first layer, and be careful about it because the normal rules apply for these blocks, you get a chest, and the chest can have red meteor gems in it. So not bad at all. Also comes with, I can come with chest pieces, blocks of iron, ice, diamonds, very nice, and ice cream. Yes, you can actually make ice cream. I'm not going to go over that in this series, but you can look up how to make it. It's relatively simple. But again, this is your absolute best source of red meteor gems. I recommend trying to find one of these. I actually did find one of these while I was looking around, but it was actually underwater. So not the best place to show you, so I decided to spawn one in any case. Okay, so I think we've come pretty much to the end of our spotlight on the meteors, our lesson on meteors, that is. Yeah, so I'm gonna call it a lesson. Thank you very much for joining me on this journey through the meteors, and class dismissed.